This is the story of a man from New Zealand and a woman from England stuck in lockdown together in London. Hello to you.
Hello.
And let's be perfectly honest right from the get-go. This is day 10.
Still.
This is still day 10. And this is the second time that we were recording today's episode.
Yes.
Because the first one was so bad
Yeah.
that I ended up in just a pool of misery, lying on the bed, face down, almost crying.
Yeah.
You threatened to never record an episode again. It did not go well.
No.
And I want to assure everyone out there that we did go for almost an hour. But it was just so bad and just so horrific that it's never going to see the light of day.
And what did we learn from that experience?
What did we learn? We said, well, see, I came in and I sat down and I said, let's talk about how we're feeling.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
Which was a complete surprise to me. I had no idea he was going to say that. And what I've learned from this is I don't work well with surprises.
Right.
Much like the end of the previous day's episode when you surprised me with come up with the elevator pitch in no time at all.
Well, that's the only thing that we're going to share with you now.
Yeah.
So this is the recording from earlier today. This is the only bright spot. It's not even that bright, but it's the only bright spot we had from the episode we tried to record earlier today.
10A. This is 10B.
So here, enjoy this trip back in time to our elevator pitch.
Yesterday you set a challenge.
Oh, right. No,
5-minute elevator pitch for a movie.
Yeah. So what it is people who make a much better podcast than us called Movie Bong. Their podcast is set around a simple premise, which is to each week they pitch ideas for films that don't exist. They discuss potential directors, actors, the overall tone and the plot, and they pull it all together. And they thought what they could do at this time was to do some extra special episodes based on the pandemic. And what they'd like people to do is to submit some submissions to them of around about 5 minutes in length, formatted as an MP3, and then you email it to red@deadcatcomedy.co.uk via WeTransfer. And then I think they'll work it in and make it part of the show. So, I thought we could give that a go.
Yep.
And I gave you a pretty good shunt yesterday to hey, let's do this thing. You weren't having it.
No.
But have you warmed up to the idea now?
No, not really. But along the lines of things that are unique to this pandemic, I was thinking about who it's been pretty tough for us. I say pretty tough. We've got loads of food. We've got loads of toilet roll. We're just spending too much time together. But what it could be worse. That's the thing. It could be worse. We are in a relatively good position. We're coping with each other and eating well, and we can still move about a bit. We don't need to go out for anything. We're not out of any of our prescription medicines or anything, so we're okay. And yes, I am bored, but things could be worse. That was my kind of starting point for this. I was thinking, well, what could be worse than this? And I was thinking, well, you could be stuck on your own and want to be with somebody that you can't be with, or stuck with people that you don't want to be with. And the first of those two thoughts, not being able to be with someone that you want to be with, made me think of all of the kind of complex human relations that people get themselves entangled in, like being the other part of a love triangle.
So
the phrase that I came up with was side chick. When two people are married and he or she is having an affair, there's the third wheel there. So let's generically refer to this as a side chick. And it's like, well, that could be, in a pandemic situation, that could be turned into a light-hearted rom-com where the side chick realises that he's never going to leave his wife because he doesn't during the pandemic, and they're forced to spend 3 months apart, not boning like animals, and things will work out for the best.
See, I thought you went a step further with that, and you were saying that what's going to happen to all the people who currently have two families.
Oh
and
yeah.
are running a secret
yeah.
double
So
life.
my first thought was around follow the side chick, and then I took it a step further as to this guy who's caught between these two women, one that he's married to, and the other one he's having a fling with. And then I thought, well, actually, what if he's married to both of them? You hear about people having double lives, two families running in parallel, where they're saying that they're going away to work for a fortnight, and actually they spend a fortnight with the family, and then they tell that family that they're going away to work for a fortnight and go to the other family. And there's people that pinball ricochet between two different households. How do you pick which family you stay with for the 12 weeks?
And in terms of actors for your movie,
Yeah.
it had to be the first four that came to mind.
No.
Yes.
What we
It was
said.
the first four actors that came to mind. What were they in order? What were the first four actors that came to mind?
The caveat to this was I don't know the names of any actors, and that was the first thing that I said. And then you said Brad Pitt, and then I said Gwyneth Paltrow, and then I said Renee Zellweger. And I don't think I was actually thinking of Renee Zellweger. I was thinking of the blonde-haired one, who was in Legally Blonde.
It's too late.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Is she another Renee?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
anyway, so
you-
we had Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow, Renee Zellweger, and you then threw in Gerard Depardieu.
Yes.
Because that was and I said, who's that? Meaning, what character is it? And you said,
He plays all the children.
first thing you
Except
said was he's a French actor. And I was like, yeah, I know who Gerard Depardieu is. I want to know who he is in this little story that we're mapping out. And then you said all the children.
Yeah, so he plays all the children, and it's like an Eddie Murphy movie where he wears all the fat suits and plays all the different characters, but it's Gerard Depardieu shrunk down, maybe, or not, and he plays all the children from the two relationships that Brad is having, one with Gwyneth and one with Renee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it could be, instead of like just a pandemic zombie movie, it could be like a noir.
Yeah. Yeah. But exposed. The whole thing the story is exposed by the pandemic.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And do you know how it ends? Can you remember how it ends?
No, have you got an ending?
Yeah. So, I think the two girls get together and Brad gets booted out.
Oh, it has to go and live with Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah.
In his various guises.
Yeah. He takes all the children and they just,
Yeah. Oh, you said that Gerard Depardieu, we're probably saying his name so wrong so many times over. But
Sorry, Gerard.
But you were saying that he also plays Brad's father.
Yes.
As well.
Granddad. Yeah.
And he goes to live with him.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. And he's a man, as well as playing all the children, he's also a mature gentleman with a beard who doesn't wash very much.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lives in the attic, it's a bit grubby.
Okay. So this is our pitch to Movie Bong.
Yeah.
And I hope they enjoy it. At least it's,
Well, nobody else is going to think of a rom-com that, is centred around the COVID outbreak, are they?
But it's noir.
I don't know what that means.
Oh. Anyway. But yeah, essentially a film.
Yeah.
It's got some stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people.
Yeah.
First 4 people we thought of. What is the name of that actor?
So that was our elevator pitch for the Movie Bong podcast. We'll send that off to them later today. But you actually remembered in the end who it was that you wanted to play instead of
I didn't remember.
Renee
I
Zellweger.
It was I remembered that she was the actress from Legally Blonde, and I googled Legally Blonde, and it's Reese Witherspoon was the person I was thinking of, not Renee Zellweger.
You think you're going to take the opportunity now to recast her, or you're just going to stick with the original pitch?
Yeah, I think I will. I think, the characters, I don't know what Reese Witherspoon is like at all in real life, and I don't know what Gwyneth Paltrow is like in real life, but I kind of get the impression that they're quite different personalities.
Yeah. But there's
and I could see somebody boning them both at the same time. Because
Well, it is
variety's
Sunday.
the spice of life. Yeah.
It is Sunday.
Every day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah. And if you don't have time to do it twice on Sunday, just double up.
Yeah.
Get down with your love sandwich.
Yeah.
So it's it's great to be back here at the desk
A whole
after
4
such
hours after the last one.
Is it that long? Was it 4 hours?
I
Oh
dunno.
man, maybe I passed out while I was laying face down on the floor.
Yeah. It was
yeah,
about 4 hours.
it was grim.
So
but-
the numbers haven't changed since before.
Yeah, well, let's just really quickly go over those without going into them.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
didn't help earlier.
Yeah, no. I mean, let's face it. After talking about it afterwards, we came to the conclusion that talking a lot about COVID is not doing either of us any good, because when we're not doing this, we're watching telly or reading stuff on the Facebook, and it's all about this, and nothing's really changing. The advice is still stay home and wash your hands,
Yeah.
and that's going to be the advice for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And we just need to,
we need to find a way to live our lives in our bubble.
Yeah.
And maybe reach some point of contact with the outside world where we can have some positivity coming into our lives.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons we won't be releasing the episode we recorded earlier today is because
Episode 10A.
the sorrow and negativity and dire, just it was low. We went to a very low place. We just don't think that we should bring that upon the world and share it with you.
Yeah.
And bring you
you're
down
still
with
talking
us.
about it, aren't you?
Well, it had a
Right, so
huge
the
emotional
numbers,
effect on me. Yeah, okay, let's go over these quickly.
There are now in the UK over 17,000 people that have tested positive, which is an increase of 2,500 over yesterday. And there have been, we've reached another milestone in terms of deaths. We have gone to over 1,000 people have died.
Yeah, that's quite a few.
Yeah. But one of the things we were saying, which was quite positive, is that New Zealand, on the other hand, have also reached a milestone in that they've had their first death, but the numbers in terms of new cases is turning around. It's dropped back down to 60.
Yeah, so maybe they're starting to plateau in terms of when they
Yeah.
talk about flattening the curve all the time.
Yeah.
It could be that New Zealand is starting to reach the top of that curve. Now, that doesn't mean that the cases aren't going to continue to go up, because they will, but they may not go up as quickly.
Yeah.
So we may have seen, what was it, 70 to 80
Yeah.
a day was like the high point of the number of cases that were coming out of New Zealand, and now it might start to dip down. But one of the really important things to remember, and we were talking about this the other day in terms of the graphs that were coming out of the ABC in Australia, is that you still need to stay home. You still need to have zero contact with people.
Yep.
Because if 90% of you do that, then it drops away, the virus goes away. If 80% of you do that, again, it's not as quick, but the curve does fall away. But if only 70% of you do it, then it's like you're doing nothing.
Yeah,
and the graph just shoots up into the stratosphere once again. Everyone gets the virus, everybody dies, and it is horrible. So extremely sad that New Zealand has experienced its first death, but it is in context only the one, because here we've had over 1,000 now. Italy's had over 10,000.
Yeah.
And Italy, the way all the data's tracking, Italy's just 2 weeks ahead of the UK. So in all likelihood, in 2 weeks' time, the UK is going to be facing down the barrel of having had 10,000 deaths.
Yeah.
And we're just going to gloss over that because we went into it in way too much detail earlier. It got too sad, too grim, and too hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But there is a really good article. If you can emotionally handle it, there's a really great article you can Google. It was in The Guardian. It's called A Letter to the UK from Italy. And it's a really good read about, what our lives might become like in the near future and what Italy's currently going through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to something more positive.
Yeah. Things that we've done today. So we're still
Fighting, threatening each other.
No, we haven't done any of that. You've been crying. We had a bit of a heart to heart this morning about that we were starting off the day feeling quite and bored, and you offered to share your Lego with me, which is really touching.
Oh.
We haven't actually opened it, but the thought was there. And we still haven't started watching Tiger King. Everyone is talking about Tiger King. Even my mum and dad, they have just, they're not talking about it. My mum and dad have just got Netflix for the first time ever. And for some reason that I will never understand. They've watched the first 3 episodes of season 3 of The Crown. That's a kind of bizarre place to start, personally, I think. But I've not watched any of the seasons of The Crown, so maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you can just dip in at season 3. I suggested they watch The Stranger, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, my sister was right into that.
Yeah. So anyone else, and I said to you to tell your sister, if anyone did really enjoy The Stranger, they should watch Safer, which was done by the same team a year before. I don't remember it getting as much coverage or press or whatever, but it's very similar lines. Same writer behind the story.
To be fair, I got you to watch The Host.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
Same writer director as the guy who just won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you just blanked it.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. What have I enjoyed? I have enjoyed in the last 24 hours, since we're going back that far and back over the material, some of which we did in 10A. I enjoyed last night's dinner. What did we have for dinner last night?
We had a chicken curry.
We did, and it was made from
Chicken.
And things that we had in the cupboard. So
curry.
No, there were 4 different varieties of spice that went into that were hand blended. Dried ground spices, and also some homegrown herbs from the garden that I did last summer, and I've had them hanging in the pantry drying. They went into it as well.
I would describe it as highly edible.
Yeah. And we didn't have any onions, so we improvised and used a leek.
Yeah,
so that was good.
Managed to make some food.
Yeah,
because there are bits and pieces that are missing. You know, we are missing bits and pieces from your typical pantry spread.
Yeah.
You know, but made food.
Well, no, we're missing stuff from the fridge. We didn't have any yogurt, and we don't have any milk, but we've got loads of milk alternatives. I don't have any yogurt alternatives.
Yeah. We're out of eggs, though, aren't we?
No, we've got 3. We've got 3 left.
Are we clinging on to those?
I'm saving them for for things that I cannot make an egg substitute for. So there are, as I think I've mentioned before, there are things that you can use as an egg replacer that are vegan. So things like chickpea flour is a really good one. That's what I use in my bread to make the bread rise, and as a binding agent, and bananas in cakes. Bananas and I think chickpea flour in combination.
Does that mean I should stop eating the bananas?
Have you been eating the bananas?
Yeah.
Oh, you shared one with the dog, didn't you?
I didn't share one with the dog. The dog stole my banana. I didn't even know he'd done it. You just come in from the garden holding this banana peel. What the hell? The dog had pinched my banana. I don't even know how he did it. Yeah. But anyway, that happened.
Yeah.
One good thing, because, you know, obviously my parents are facing difficulties getting certain groceries in New Zealand.
Yeah.
They are not short of eggs. Both my parents have chickens.
Yeah.
Which lay. So they've got eggs.
Yeah, I do wish I'd got chickens.
They're
smelly.
They piss the neighbours off enough with the dogs, don't we?
Yeah.
And then the dogs would bark at the chickens, and the chickens
I wonder
would
if we could convert the garage into a hen coop.
It's got no windows.
Yeah, but we could take. Well, the door's broken anyway. We could take the door off the front and replace it with something open.
Just have free-range chickens wandering around the neighbourhood.
No, within the garage.
But with what? Like chicken wire on the front of the garage.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would go over so badly with the
Why?
neighbours. They would hate that.
Why?
They would. Your neighbours didn't even come out to clap the NHS.
They'd be fucking queuing up to get the eggs.
Yes, they would.
They'd probably be queuing up to get the pigeon eggs off the roof if we gave them a chance.
I actually suspect that you might see chickens go missing. I think those are the kinds of ruthless neighbours that you happen to have.
We'd have to set up a camera. Be all right.
Yeah, but things are getting weird down here.
They are. Speaking of weird, the other thing that I've done is I finished my leg warmer.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Maybe we can post a picture later.
Yeah, absolutely. What version of your leg warmer is this?
So I finished it once. I think I said this on an earlier episode. I finished it and it was too big, so I restarted it in a smaller size with the same ball of wool. And then I prematurely switched back to the rib stitch, which is the bit that goes at the top and the bottom to hold it in place, and found that it wasn't evenly spread and was going to be a bit short. So I unpicked it again and started again. Make it longer. Unpicked about the top sixth of it and then started again, but realised that I hadn't switched back to the bigger needles that are used in the body of the thing, so I then had to unpick it again to start it off. So it's like, I don't know, 1.3.
Well, version 4, isn't it? Like, if you've unpicked it that many times.
No, 2.3. 2.3. Yeah, I call it 2.3. Leg warmer 2.3, and there's only one of them because I only need one because my other leg is in plaster cast from my ankle to my hip.
So you've got how much longer to wear the cast? A week?
Hopefully it will come off on Friday, but Friday's a bit worrying. It's a trip to the hospital anyway, which is obviously a big area of risk. Because of the number of people that are going through there and that are ill, but it's seeing the doctor, being X-rayed. So it's all these surfaces that I can't really kind of pause and say, hang on a second, I just want to give this a wipe before I sit on the couch or sit on the bed thing that they put you on to do X-rays.
Can you go in there and just be like, look, I'm high risk. Can you wipe everything down before I get on it?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Can you say that to them?
I don't know.
Are they too busy for that kind of carry-on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well. You've got 1 week to enjoy having one leg warmer.
Yep.
Before you get your cast off, probably.
Hopefully. Yep.
And then have another cold leg. And require a second leg warmer.
No, because it'll come off and then I'll have my brace on it.
Okay.
So I can't put the brace on over the leg warmer. That wouldn't work. I have those elasticated stocking things to... Those tubey grips. Tubey grips? Yeah, tubey things. Yeah.
Okay, as long as you've got it all planned out.
Oh, I haven't got it all planned out, just based on last year's experience.
Okay. As long as you don't have one cold leg, because you've just overcome that hurdle.
Yeah.
And hats off to you, because you've been beavering away with your knitting needles.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to find some other kind of craft project to work on.
You've got it in you. I know you do. You've been out in the garden except for today. Today's
been hail.
Well, yes, it has. Today
Hailing
is
on and off.
daylight savings in the UK as we move towards the summer months.
Yeah, British summertime we call it.
Yep.
Not daylight savings.
Okay. I'm learning. In New Zealand, it'll be daylight savings.
Yeah.
I don't
BST here, British summertime.
I don't know when daylight savings ends in New Zealand.
GMT,
but
Greenwich
it must
Mean
be
Time is the winter.
Must be coming up soon. There are gulls outside the window. That's not a good sign, because we don't live anywhere near the sea.
Yeah,
so
they come out of the river.
As what you called it, British summertime.
Yeah.
We began that period of the year
Today.
with considerable amounts of hail.
Yeah.
It has been coming and going. It has been bright sunlight and then hail, and then bright sunlight
peak
and
size
then
hail as well. I mean,
Yep.
scared the shit out of the dogs.
Yeah, it's been decent and it's been cold. And for some reason, it seems to have attracted gulls, which is a bit of a change.
Yeah. Well, they get pushed inland as the weather at sea is rough, isn't it?
Mm.
Plus, they come into nest, lay their eggs, do all that kind of jazz.
In the terraced housing of London. Do
No,
seagulls do that?
Oh, they got to lay eggs somewhere, haven't they? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because we're quite green, aren't we? Where we are. We're not in the city centre. We're quite away, probably 8-9 miles from the Thames.
Well, I think London's a pretty green city anyway. I think it's got a lot of trees, a lot of gardens.
Well, we're in the
lot
greenest
of foliage.
borough.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the things they discovered about seagulls in New Zealand is that a lot of seagulls in New Zealand nest on the ground, nest in the banks of rivers, nest on the beach in the sand. And what they weren't realizing was that all these nests were failing and that the seagulls were becoming very, very old. Turns out seagulls quite well lived, 30, 40 years easily.
Yeah.
So what they weren't realizing in New Zealand was that these seagulls weren't producing and they were heading towards a massive population crash. And it was essentially because of human activity, and we were accidentally destroying all of their nests. Another thing about the
Way
seagull...
to keep the show light and breezy.
Well, you know, they know now. They know now. I think they're
Are they?
trying to do things. Because
Carrying on with the same behaviours that have driven them to extinction.
well, there are a lot of different seagulls in New Zealand, lots of different birds. Birds are, you know, they're the big deal in New Zealand. All our mammals are introduced. So, you know, saving birds is quite a big deal.
Yeah.
I was saying that earlier today with the Lego Voltron that we've got.
Yeah.
That was part of one of Lego's initiatives where, you know, certain sets were designed by the fans and then they pitch them to Lego, and then Lego puts them out to a public vote as to whether or not they get turned into actual sets that you can buy. That's what happened with the Lego Voltron. And I'm so stoked about it. I really want to talk to the person who made it. But one of the New Zealand's most famous native birds is the kakapo. You can find a great video online. Stephen Fry down in New Zealand doing Last Chance to See. He goes to meet the kakapo, and one of our kakapo starts mating with one of the photographer's heads. And it's quite a laugh.
Okay.
And then they took that very happy looking kakapo and turned him into a meme and a little graphic that you can get on your phone. So yeah, there's a whole big site.
Okay.
You can get so many, like the Party Parrot or something. I can't remember what it's called exactly. They made a really great, Radio New Zealand made a really great series last year following the breeding of the kakapo. And
Was this the artificial insemination and drones thing you got me to listen to?
yes, yeah. It was a great series. It's well worth a listen. They had the most successful breeding season for kakapo ever, and they finally got the population up above 200 birds. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
But someone in New Zealand created a kakapo out of Lego, and it pitched it to Lego to go to a public vote. Didn't win.
Yeah.
Didn't go into
Do you
production.
know what did win?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Something lame, obviously. But yeah, you can still find this Lego kakapo online, and I'm sure people who are involved with these sorts of competitions and things, you know, they put the instructions out there as well, and you
Yeah.
know, you can go and make your own kakapo.
If
live
you
on
have
the
some
show.
bricks, which we don't.
Yeah, green ones
Okay.
predominantly.
So what would you pitch for? You
Oh.
can make anything. If you had an unlimited supply of Lego and Lego shapes, what would you?
When I was a kid, I was just obsessed with space Lego, making spaceships.
Yeah.
So whenever I made a spaceship that I was particularly proud of, I felt sorry for my parents because I'd go and chew up a roll of film, taking photos of this Lego spaceship that I made that I was so very proud of.
Yeah.
All that kind of nonsense. But I often, you know, even back then, I was like, oh, we should really send these photos to Lego. They should know what I built.
Oh.
I was that kind of kid.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to see this. They've
Yeah.
got to know. I've made this amazing discovery, and they must know how I've done it.
Yeah, I think my older brother was like that.
But in terms of the actual sets that they've managed to build, like the fan ones, you know, there's things like, I think they did the Friends set, and and they did the big Apollo 5 rocket, Saturn V. But they also, clever thing with the Saturn V rocket was they made it out of the exact number of pieces that the year was when they launched it. So was it 1969? So it had that exact number of pieces in the model that you built.
Wow.
Yeah, really clever. You know, there's so many little artisan details and things like that in these sets. It's really, really cool. Some of them are boring as shit though. Oh my God. You know, they're just national monuments from whatever country. You're like, is this worth my time? Does this break down into 5 lions? Can it stop the, you know, Golra Empire? Probably not. It's just a smelly old bridge. Can you just imagine being like, come on, Bridgie, you can do it. Stop the bad guys, Bridge. And the bridge just
Sits there.
doesn't do anything. And then everybody dies.
Yeah.
Bridgie, why didn't you help us? Inanimmately just continues to sit there. Stonewalls you.
You're a strange man.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we should cover off what movies you watched yesterday.
I don't think I watched any movies yesterday.
That's the movie review done for today.
Yeah.
And what are we going to watch after we finish recording today?
Please, dear God, let us watch Tiger King.
Tiger King.
We've been talking about it for days and haven't managed to sit and watch it yet. We did the pub quiz yesterday. That's why we didn't watch it yesterday.
Yeah, we did
It
do
kind
the
of-
Big Nerd Pub
Yeah,
quiz.
it's got that- by the time dinner ended, it was too late to start it, or we wouldn't have been able to watch it all before the pub quiz started. So, yeah, we postponed it for today.
Yeah, and we got a big shout out on the Big Nerd Pub quiz as
Yeah, we
well.
did.
Big full screen graphic, and
Yeah.
you know, go and listen to our podcast. And I'd just like to thank all of the single person who started following us on Twitter and went away and listened to the podcast. But to that one person, hey, hello. So
Hey.
you know that when we say hello, we mean you.
Yep.
And just you. Because you're not multiple people. But we'll go watch Tiger King. We'll make
Yeah.
a real day of it, I think.
Cocktails. We can have cocktails.
No, you
Tell them about the cocktail we had last time.
the bloody paint stripper that you made.
Yeah, it's called something like a Northern Star. I think that's what it's called.
It was strong.
Yeah, it was. You finished it first.
I didn't. You finished yours
No,
first.
you finished yours first.
We didn't finish them in any kind of hurry though, let's be fair.
No,
It-
well, it was a cocktail.
It took
Yeah.
I think it took me like an hour and a half to get through that one drink.
Yeah,
It was
something.
something. Yeah. It felt like my brain was slipping out of its skull cavity and down the back of my throat. Because the drink was so strong.
It was a double of bourbon for each of us. Not this is so I doubled everything to make it for the two of us. So
All right.
it was a double of bourbon, 10 ml of Cointreau, 10 ml of cherry brandy, and then some bitters splashed in the top, shaken with ice, strained into 2 martini glasses. And you were meant to put a star anise in, but I didn't think I had any. But then I found them in the cupboard when I was making the curry. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cocktail.
Yeah, and it kicked my ass.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so
Tonight we can have zombies. Do you know why zombies are called zombies?
No,
Because you have one, you turn into a zombie.
really.
Yeah.
Is it really worth our liver? Like,
Yeah, it was
should
2 days ago since we had the last one. Neither of us have drunk anything alcoholic since.
I will admit that we did sleep well that night,
Yeah.
and we didn't sleep well at all last night.
No.
So we were both awake
Zombies.
all night with
Gin.
various cramp. Like you had a sore leg,
Yeah.
and then
So
I had a
bad.
sore leg. Like I had these ridiculous cramps in my calf yesterday.
Yeah.
It was really, really awkward and difficult. I did do one cool thing yesterday. One of my best friends who lives down in Australia,
Yeah.
he turned 40, and then I got a surprise invitation on my phone to join them in a Zoom group, which, you know, I'm sure everyone out there is becoming
Doing
familiar with
Zoom
now.
group in inverted commas with your fingers doesn't
Well-
really work on a podcast.
I mean, you can continue to describe the way that I flail my limbs around while we record this thing.
He's wanking
Anyway,
under the table.
now they know there's a table. There's two major apps that I keep hearing about over and over again. One is Zoom, one is House Party. And the whole concept is that you have like a group. Stop it. A group get together with all these different people. Stop it. A group get together with all these different people. And, you know, you can hang out and talk to a whole number of people at the same time.
Where were you when you did this call?
I was in bed.
Yes.
It was quite late.
Yes.
Also, I currently have a beard. Many of my friends have never seen me with a beard because I've never grown a big beard like this before. This is my
Yeah.
first time.
You've joined a party from your bed
Yeah.
wearing a beard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people didn't even recognize me to begin with, I think. I don't know. I couldn't get the sound working initially. I think they were laughing at my expense. I think that's what was happening. And then I was so out of it because I'd already, you know, I was in bed, the light was off, I was done. And then I had to turn that on, turn the phone on, get my headphones out, and then join this little soiree. I don't know what else to call it. And then I just kind of sat there in the corner of the screen, I assume, just being a bit of a zombie. But it was really, really nice to be able to see all those people who I haven't seen in a very, very long
Yeah.
time. So that was
so
quite
you're
lovely.
going to give a shout out to whoever's birthday it was.
No.
Well, why not?
Happy birthday to him. A lot of my friends seem to be celebrating birthdays at the moment.
Yeah,
It's quite lovely.
yeah.
It's nice. Although, like I said, the other day, my niece's birthday's coming up. She's going to be 10.
Yep.
And my sister is,
Desperately trying to put together a party without being able to go out the house.
well, she can't
Or
have
order
friends over. She
Yeah.
can't get a cake. She
Yeah.
can't do all these different things. And she certainly can't get a present. My sister's really sad about it. So if anyone out there listening has any ideas about how they can make that day special for my niece, my sister would love to hear those ideas.
Yeah, let us
'Cause it
know
is
through
difficult
Twitter.
for them. It's not like they have a shortage of space. They're on the farm, but the weather is turning down in New Zealand. So, yeah. But yeah, get in touch. Let us know. We'd love to know. And we'll absolutely pass that on. Great. Okay. We done for today?
I think so.
Woot. All right. See you tomorrow for day 11.
Yeah. We got through Murder Day, so, you know.
Anything's possible now.
Yeah.
We can live vicariously
Yeah.
around the
We
house.
can live every day like it's our last.
I think we already are. It certainly feels like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, go watch Tiger King. Make some Lego Voltron.
Yeah, and some cocktails.
Woot. Okay. Till tomorrow.
Bye.